Far away in the calm reaches of the galaxy, the planet Lithera floated silently among the stars. Its people, the Litherans, were a delicate and thoughtful race. Their homes were tall crystal towers that gleamed in sunlight, and their cities were peaceful, filled with gardens, fountains, and libraries. Litherans cherished knowledge and creativity more than strength or war, but their peace was ending. From the dark side of the nearby star system, the Varkons were moving. These creatures were unlike anything the Litherans had faced. Large, strong, and aggressive, the Varkons took what they wanted without mercy. They had already conquered several nearby worlds, leaving destruction in their wake. The Litheran Council gathered urgently in the Grand Hall. Crystal chandeliers glowed softly above as leaders spoke in worried tones. "We cannot fight them alone," said High Scholar Illyra, her voice trembling. "Our weapons are weak. Our people are not trained for battle. We must ask for aid." A council member, Elder Turan, nodded. "The Intergalactic Council is far away. They may send help, but will it arrive in time?" Time was short. The Litherans quickly prepared a distress signal, a glowing pulse of light and sound designed to reach the far corners of the galaxy. They sent a plea for help to any race that could defend them. The signal traveled through the stars, passing by countless worlds. On Earth, far across the galaxy, it reached the humans. The signal described the Varkons and asked for immediate assistance. Humans had long been known as Deathworlders, a nickname given by other species because they thrived in dangerous and unpredictable environments. Many viewed Earth and its people as too chaotic, too rough, or too dangerous. But the humans themselves knew the truth. They were resilient, clever, and never afraid to face danger. When the Council on Earth received the signal, there was a moment of silence. Commander Elena Vargas, leader of the human expedition fleet, studied the holographic message. "They asked for help," she said quietly, "and we are going to give it to them." No hesitation, her team was ready. Soldiers, engineers, scientists, and pilots boarded sleek ships built for speed and survival. They were not the delicate types other species might expect. They were humans, strong, adaptable, and unafraid of the unknown. Meanwhile, on Lithera, the first human ships appeared as shining streaks of light in the violet sky. The Litherans watched nervously from their crystal towers. "They are large," whispered Illyra, noticing the humans' bulky armor and confident movements. "Not what we expected at all." The humans landed smoothly in an open field near the Litheran capital. They stepped down with calm confidence, scanning the surroundings. Commander Vargas looked at the fragile-looking towers and said, "Beautiful planet. Let's make sure it stays that way." A Litheran ambassador approached, floating slightly above the ground on a small levitation device. Her name was Aaron. She studied the humans carefully. "You are strong," she said, choosing her words with care. "We asked for aid. We did not know what this would be." Vargas smiled gently. "Strength is one thing. Understanding and action are another. We came to help, not to destroy. We'll face the Varkons together." Despite her caution, Aaron felt a spark of hope. The humans moved differently from any race she had seen. They walked boldly into dangerous areas without fear. They examined the environment with sharp eyes, noting every tree, river, and cliff. To Litherans, it seemed reckless. To humans, it was preparation. That evening, as two sons of Lithera dipped behind crystal mountains, the humans began exploring the nearby forests. Their boots made firm impressions on soft moss, and their sensors scanned for threats. Every tree seemed alive with movement. Yet the humans adapted quickly, using sticks and rocks to test paths, setting simple traps for unseen predators. The Litherans observed from a distance. They were amazed. Their own people would have panicked at the first sign of danger. These humans, these so-called Deathworlders, moved calmly, confidently, almost as if the wild world around them belonged to them. High Scholar Illyra whispered to Elder Torin, "Perhaps we judged them too quickly. They are different, but maybe different is exactly what we need." In the distance, shadows stirred, signs that the Varkons were near. The humans noticed immediately, pointing out tracks and broken branches. They were ready for a fight if it came, but more importantly, they were ready to teach the Litherans how to defend themselves. And so, on that first night, the calm planet of Lithera waited, its crystal towers reflecting the twin suns' last light. The Litherans had asked for aid, but the universe had sent something else, something unpredictable, fearless, and alive. Earth's Deathworlders had arrived. The story of courage, survival, and the strength of humans in the galaxy was about to begin. The next morning, Lithera's forests were alive with the quiet hum of nature. Strange plants swayed in the breeze, and the air smelled of sweet blossoms mixed with wet earth. For the Litherans, the forest was beautiful but fragile. For the humans, it was a playground of challenges and opportunities. Commander Elena Vargas led a small human team into the thick forest, their boots crunching on leaves and twigs. Every shadow, every sound was observed carefully. The Litheran ambassador Aaron followed hesitantly, hovering just above the ground. "These woods, they are alive in ways we do not understand," Aaron whispered. "Even the air feels dangerous," Vargas smiled. "Danger doesn't mean defeat. We adapt. That's how humans survive. You'll see." As they moved deeper, the forest revealed its hidden dangers. Strange creatures, small and fast, darted between the trees. Their eyes glowed faintly and their teeth looked sharp. The Litherans froze, afraid to move, but the humans continued calmly. One of them, Sergeant Malik, picked up a stick, waved it to test the movement of the creature, and then set a simple trap with vines and rocks. Within moments, the small animal was caught unharmed but immobilized. "It's not about hurting it," Malik said, smiling at Aaron. "It's about understanding it. Every danger has a way to handle it." The Litherans exchanged glances. They had always relied on technology or avoidance. They had never faced threats directly. Watching humans improvise, adapt, and remain calm was astonishing. Then suddenly the forest shook with larger movements. A pack of Varkon scouts had arrived, drawn by the humans' presence. Their scales glimmered in the light and their claws dug deep into the soft soil. They were bigger than any predator the Litherans had ever seen. "Stay calm," Vargas ordered. The humans fanned out, forming a protective circle around Aaron. They didn't run. They observed, calculated, and prepared to act. The Varkons hissed and roared, their voices echoing through the trees. They lunged at the humans, expecting fear and retreat. But the humans responded with skill. Using vines, rocks, and the terrain itself, they redirected the Varkons' attacks, trapping them in small areas without causing permanent harm. Each move was unpredictable, making the aliens struggle to anticipate the humans' tactics. Aaron watched, speechless. They are not afraid," she murmured. "They face them and control the danger." Vargas noticed her gaze. "Fear doesn't make us weak. Panic makes us weak. Humans don't panic. We learn, we adapt, and we act." The humans led the Varkons away from the Litheran city, keeping them occupied while the Litherans observed from a safe distance. They were amazed by how humans used even the smallest details of the forest, the slope of a hill, the bend of a tree, a shallow stream, to their advantage. Every move was clever and purposeful. After hours of maneuvering, the Varkons retreated. They had not been defeated, but they had been taught a lesson. Earth's humans were not easy prey. The forest returned to its calm state, and the Litherans slowly approached the humans. "You are incredible," Aaron said, her voice trembling with awe. "We have never seen courage like this. Not even our strongest warriors." Vargas shook her head. "It's not about strength alone. It's about facing what comes without giving up. That's what makes a fighter. That's what makes humans human." That evening, back in the Litheran city, humans and Litherans gathered to discuss what had happened. The Litherans asked questions about tactics, about how to use their environment and how to act when fear was present. The humans answered patiently, explaining the importance of observation, improvisation, and teamwork. Aaron realized something important. Humans were not just strong or fearless, they taught confidence. They turned fear into strategy, danger into opportunity. She had seen how the humans had protected her, but more importantly, she had seen how they had inspired her people. Meanwhile, Commander Vargas made a decision. The Varkons will not stop here. They will come back bigger and stronger. We must prepare Lithera for the next encounter. Not just with weapons, but with courage and strategy. Over the next few days, humans began small training sessions with the Litherans. They taught them how to move silently, how to create traps, how to observe patterns in nature and in enemy behavior. The Litherans were hesitant at first, but slowly their confidence grew. They learned that the world was dangerous, yes, but not impossible to navigate. And as the sun set over Lithera, painting the crystal towers in golden light, the humans prepared for what was coming. The Varkons would return. They always did. But this time they would face not just humans, they would face a planet ready to fight, led by those who had learned the most important lesson of all. Courage is not the absence of fear. but the decision to act in spite of it. Lithera was no longer just a peaceful world waiting for help. With Earth's Deathworlders by their side, it was becoming a place that could survive and maybe even thrive in the face of any threat. After the first encounter with the Varkans, Lithera was quiet, but the sense of danger hung in the air like a shadow. Commander Elena Vargas and her human team knew the attacks would come again. The humans were not just fighters, they were teachers. Their mission now was to help the Litherans prepare for what was inevitable. The Litherans gathered in the central plaza of their city. Crystal towers glowed softly as sunlight reflected off the gardens. The humans stood among them, patiently explaining the first steps in survival and strategy. Erin, the Litheran ambassador, listened closely, her curiosity growing with every word. "Your technology is strong," Vargas began, "but technology alone cannot save you. You need courage, quick thinking, and the ability to adapt. That is how humans survive on Earth, and that is how we will help you survive here." The first lessons were simple. Humans demonstrated how to observe patterns in nature. They showed the Litherans how to notice the smallest signs, a bent branch, a disturbed patch of moss, or faint footprints in the soil. Every clue could reveal danger before it arrived. Next, they taught movement. Humans and Litherans practiced moving silently through the forest, avoiding unnecessary noise or sudden actions. The Litherans found this difficult. Their natural instincts were gentle, careful, and hesitant. Humans, in contrast, moved confidently, each step purposeful and calm. "Don't worry about being perfect," Sergeant Malik told them with a grin. "Mistakes happen. What matters is learning from them quickly." The Litherans began to understand. This was not just physical training, it was training of the mind. Observation, analysis, and adaptation were as important as speed or strength. Slowly, their confidence grew. The humans also introduced improvisation. Using sticks, vines, and simple tools, they taught the Litherans how to create barriers, traps, and defensive tools. The idea was not to fight recklessly, but to use the environment creatively. Litherans watched, amazed, as humans turned even ordinary plants and rocks into clever solutions for danger. One day, while exploring a section of the forest, the humans demonstrated a mock ambush. "Pretend the Varkans are coming," Vargas instructed. "Use what you've learned. Work together." The Litherans hesitated at first. They glanced at each other nervously, but under the humans' guidance they began to set small traps and observe potential threats. When an unexpected sound echoed through the trees, they reacted, quietly, efficiently, and with growing confidence. Afterward, Erin approached Vargas. "Your methods, they are different. Not like anything we have known. But they work. We can think clearly even when we are afraid." "That's the key," Vargas replied. "Courage doesn't mean you are not afraid. Courage means you act even when you are afraid. You are stronger than you realize." Over the next days, humans and Litherans continued training together. The humans taught teamwork and communication under pressure. The Litherans learned that every person's strength mattered. By trusting each other, they could overcome obstacles that would have been impossible alone. But it was not just the Litherans who learned. Humans too admired the Litherans' intelligence and creativity. Their technology was advanced and their problem-solving skills were impressive. Humans realized that with courage and action, the Litherans could become formidable allies. A mutual respect grew between the two species. One evening, as the twin suns of Lithera set, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet, a scout from the city returned with urgent news. "The Varkans are moving toward the northern forest," he reported, breathing heavily. "They have a large force. They are faster than we expected." Vargas nodded. "Then it's time to put your lessons into action." She turned to the Litherans. "Remember what you've learned. Stay calm, observe, adapt, and work together. We face this threat as one team." The Litherans felt a mix of fear and excitement. They were about to test their new skills against a real threat. For the first time, they did not feel helpless. Humans had shown them that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could change the outcome of any encounter. As the night deepened, the forest grew still. The Varkans moved closer, unaware of the new defenders waiting for them. Humans and Litherans alike prepared side by side, ready to face the approaching danger. Lithera was no longer just a peaceful, fragile world. Under the guidance of Earth's Deathworlders, it was becoming a place where courage and cleverness could triumph over even the deadliest threat. And the Litherans were beginning to see that they too could be warriors, not only with their minds but with their hearts. The first lesson had been learned. The real test was coming, and the Litherans were ready to face it. The sun rose over Lithera, casting golden light across crystal towers and sparkling gardens. But beauty could not hide the tension in the air. The Varkans were approaching in force, their heavy steps shaking the ground and their eyes glowing with anticipation. Commander Elena Vargas gathered the humans and Litherans in the central plaza. "Today," she said firmly, "we face the Varkans together. Remember everything you've learned: observation, adaptation, teamwork. Fear is natural, but we will not let it control us." The Litherans listened, hearts pounding, but there was determination in their eyes. They had trained for this. They had learned that courage and clever thinking could turn the tide, even against the strongest enemy. The humans led the Litherans toward the northern forest, a natural battleground filled with towering trees, winding rivers, and hidden cliffs. The terrain was dangerous, but it could be used as an advantage. Humans began placing traps, barricades, and signals while Litherans contributed their technology, creating devices that amplified alarms and redirected enemy movement. As the Varkans entered the forest, their loud roars echoed through the trees. They expected a simple prey, fragile, afraid, and unprepared. What they found instead was a coordinated force ready to face them. The humans moved quickly, taking positions behind trees and rocks. Sergeant Malik signaled the Litherans to stay low, observing every movement. When a Varkan lunged toward a Litheran device, a hidden trap swung into place, slowing the creature without harm. The Litherans gasped, realizing their inventions were effective in real battle. Commander Vargas took the lead, using her knowledge of terrain and tactics to redirect the Varkans into areas where traps and obstacles would slow them down. Humans and Litherans worked as a team. Litherans using technology to predict enemy movements, humans using strategy and improvisation to respond instantly. Despite the danger, the Litherans felt a growing confidence. They were no longer helpless observers. They were part of the fight, their ideas and courage making a difference. Every time a Varkan stumbled into a clever trap, cheers erupted quietly among the defenders. Hours passed. The battle was intense but carefully controlled. The Varkan's strength was great, but they were unprepared for the humans' unpredictability. Humans leapt, dodged, and improvised, turning every obstacle into an advantage. The Litherans began to anticipate their moves, learning quickly from observation and practice. At one critical moment, a Varkan broke through the outer defenses, charging toward a group of Litheran engineers. Vargas shouted, and a human team intercepted, forming a protective line. Using ropes, vines, and quick thinking, they redirected the creature safely away from the engineers, allowing them to continue their work. The Litherans realized that humans did not just fight, they protected their allies at every turn. By mid-afternoon, the Varkans began to retreat. Their confidence was shaken. They had expected fragile opponents but found resourceful, courageous defenders who used the terrain, traps, and strategy to their advantage. Humans and Litherans had worked together perfectly, each learning from the other. As the last Varkans disappeared into the distance, the humans gathered the Litherans. "You did well," Vargas said, her voice calm but proud. "This was only the first real test. There will be more, but today you proved something important. You are not weak. You are capable. You are warriors." Erin, her eyes bright, looked around at her people. I never thought we could do this. We faced the Varkans and survived. We fought with courage, with strategy, and with humans by our side." The humans smiled. "Strength comes in many forms," Malik said. "Brains, courage, teamwork. All of them together make a difference. Today you proved that." As the sun set, painting the sky in brilliant orange and violet, Lithera seemed transformed. Its people had faced danger and discovered new strength within themselves. The city no longer felt fragile. It felt alive, capable, and ready to defend itself. That evening, humans and Litherans celebrated quietly. They shared stories, laughed, and reflected on the day's events. The Litherans learned not just techniques, but the value of courage, adaptation, and unity. Humans had shown them that even the most dangerous threats could be faced with clear thinking and bravery. Commander Vargas gazed at the stars. The Varkans will return someday, but next time Lithera will be even stronger. Humans are not here to fight alone. They are here to make sure this planet can defend itself. And today, we succeeded. For the first time in generations, Litherans believed in their own power. They had learned that courage and ingenuity could match even the most dangerous foes. With humans as teachers and allies, Lithera was no longer a fragile world waiting for help. It was a strong, prepared world ready to face any challenge. And as night fell, the crystal towers sparkled under the stars, a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of unity between two very different species. The sun rose over Lithera, painting the crystal towers in golden light. The Varkons had been driven away, and the forests were quiet once again. The people of Lithera walked among the gardens and plazas with a new sense of pride. They had faced danger, learned courage, and discovered a strength they never knew they had. Commander Elena Vargas and her human team prepared to leave. Their mission was complete, but the bond they had formed with the Litherans could not be broken. The humans had come to aid a fragile world, but they were leaving behind a world transformed. Erin, the Litheran ambassador, stood among her people, her eyes shining with respect and gratitude. "You came to help," she said, "but you gave us something more. You taught us courage, teamwork, and how to face the impossible." Vargas smiled. "That's what humans do. We survive, we adapt, and we help others do the same. We came to aid, yes, but what matters is that you now know you can defend your own world." The Litherans nodded, their confidence visible in the way they held themselves. Children played in the plazas, imitating the humans' movements as they had been taught. Scholars examined traps and strategies, combining them with Litheran technology. It was a new era for Lithera, a time of strength, unity, and hope. Before departure, the humans held one last meeting with the Litheran Council. "We do not know when the Varkons may return," Vargas said. "But when they do, you will be ready. Remember what you have learned. Trust your instincts. Work together. Courage and clever thinking can overcome any enemy." High Scholar Elira, who had once doubted the humans' methods, nodded slowly. "You have shown us more than skill in battle. You have shown us the power of the mind, the heart, and the will to survive. We are forever changed." The humans boarded their ships. Engines hummed and the ships lifted gently into the sky. Litherans watched, feeling a mixture of sadness and pride. They had received help, but they had also grown. They were no longer helpless or fragile. They were ready to protect their own world. As the fleet rose above the crystal towers, Commander Vargas looked down at Lithera. "This planet is strong now," she said softly. "We came to help, but what matters most is what they became." Meanwhile, stories of the humans' courage and teaching spread across the galaxy. Other species who had once considered Earth dangerous or chaotic began to take note. The Litherans spoke of the humans' bravery, intelligence, and ingenuity. They spoke of how humans had taught them not only to survive, but to thrive in the face of danger. On Lithera, life began to return to normal, but with a difference. The Litherans applied the lessons they had learned. Gardens and towers were fortified subtly with clever devices. Scouts trained in observation and quick decision-making. Engineers created new tools inspired by human ingenuity. Every corner of Lithera reflected the unity of intelligence and courage. Erin visited the training grounds daily, watching young Litherans practice movement, observation, and teamwork. "They are learning," she said to herself. "They will be ready no matter what comes." In the evening, she gathered with others in the central plaza, looking up at the stars where the human fleet had disappeared. "We called for help," she said softly, "but the universe sent humanity. They are more than warriors. They are teachers, guides, and friends." Across the galaxy, humans continued their journey, leaving behind a legacy that no one would forget. Their presence had shown that courage and intelligence could overcome fear, that adaptability and teamwork could turn fragile worlds into strong ones. Earth's Deathworlders were no longer just a legend. They were a symbol of hope and inspiration. Back on Lithera, the twin suns set once more, reflecting off the crystal towers. Litherans looked to the future with confidence. They had faced the impossible and survived. They had learned from humans, and in doing so, they had discovered strength within themselves. Commander Vargas's words echoed in Erin's mind. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it." The Litherans had made that choice. They had grown stronger, braver, and wiser. And as night fell over the planet, Lithera sparkled in the starlight, a symbol of resilience, hope, and the enduring power of unity. The humans had gone, but their lessons remained, an eternal reminder that courage, cleverness, and heart could change the fate of an entire world. The galaxy had seen the Deathworlders of Earth in action. And now, every species that learned their story knew one truth. Humanity was a force to be respected, not feared. Lithera was safe. Lithera was strong, and the universe had changed forever.